Hey guys, how's it going? Blackboy here. Today we are talking about my new preamp, the Behringer 73. Now, this is a preamp that I initially wanted to get because in my vocal chain that I use for my voiceovers, it seemed like while editing, my vocals weren't as loud as I would like them to be. And instead of cranking the gain on my preamps on my Focusrite 18i20, I decided to get a mic preamp specifically just to do that. And then I can run it through my vocal chain. So I tried to get the Behringer 73 at first, but it was out of stock. And I ended up getting the Fretenstein unit, which I did a review on, and you can see it right here. Anyways, it was out of stock. I thought I canceled it, but I guess I said I'd be willing to wait till it came in, and it came in, and you can see that in my first unboxing video, or no. Well, you can see it in this unboxing video, which is not the first unboxing video of the year 2026. Anyways, in that video, I went over a brief summary or a brief description of everything that's in it. As you guys can see right here, we have the controls. And, like I said, I went over it, but let's go over it again. As you guys can see right here, number one is the signal. This LED light lights up to let you know that it is getting power. Number two is the gain control. Now, the cool thing about this preamp is that it has two different sections of gain and 3 off positions. So this first section right here from -20 to 10 plus 10 dB, this is all for line level stuff. So you're throwing instruments or anything like that, this is where it goes. Then from -20 all the way to this off position, and then all the way back here to -80. That's not a 6, that's an 80. That's all mic level stuff. So this preamp is really diverse. You're able to use it for doing vocals and for doing line level stuff, playing instruments. I really like that. Now right here, this little button, this is a phase button. So it allows you to flip the phase. Under here, we have this low Z, which is a low Z. It's a low pass filter. A low pass filter. And then this last button right here, this FRIP, this is really something unique and interesting. So this button is pretty much switching the input. Now, as a 500 unit, you slide this into a 500 chassis. All 500 chassis have slots in the rear if you want to plug directly into the rear. However, some units like this one have a input in the front. Now, I think traditionally a lot of units will have the back input be the primary one, i.e., or no, the front. The front be the primary. I mean, yeah, which is if you have something plugged into the back already, like in the back of the chassis, but you plug let's say I have this microphone, my Shure MV7X, plugged into the back, and it's always just plugged in the back. But let's say I want to use my Shure Super 55. Well, then I would just plug it right here into, the input number 8, and it would focus primarily on the front. The front would, the rear input would get cut off. So this button right here, this number 5, is literally telling it which input to look at. Look at the rear or look at the front. Then over here, we have the trim knob, which, as you guys can see right here, The trim is this controller has dual functions. Pressing it switches the 48V phantom power on or off. So yes, this preamp does have phantom power, and that's how you turn it on right there. Only when the gain switch is in the mic range or otherwise phantom power is disabled. So it only works with phantom power. It only controls phantom power when, like I said, when you have the gain set to somewhere in the mic level, because you're not going to need phantom power for instruments. Okay, and then otherwise it's disabled. Turning the trim control gives a variable gain range of negative 20 dB to plus 5 dB with a center dented with the center being unity, which means when it's at noon, that's 0 unity. So very cool. Number 7 is just the LED light to let you know that phantom power is on. And then number 8 is just the input. Now, this is awesome because, like I said, this does both line and mic level inputs. So this is a quarter/XLR combo input. So yeah, that's the rundown of this unit. Now, I haven't used this unit at all yet. This is going to be the first time. However, I do have it in my rack. My Midas, Midas 500 series chassis, which I did do a video on that, which you can see right here. Now, initially, I was going to have this run through its own compressor, the de-esser that I have, then go through another compressor into my Focusrite 18920. But oh no, I wasn't going to do the first compressor. It was going to go through this. It was going to be this, then my de-esser, then my Art Pro VLA2, then into the Focusrite 18920. However, because I got the Fredestein dual combo pack, which was a mic preamp and a compressor, then I have like my de-esser and my parametric EQ. Forgot about that. This unit I'm using this one straight into my Focusrite 18920. So I'm going to build a new vocal chain for this one. And a lot of that is going to primarily be solely in, I guess, in the box, but, in my DAW, on my digital workstation. So without further ado, let's go ahead and let me plug this in to the de-esser, or not the de-esser. What am I thinking? Plug this in to the Behringer 73. So come on, let's do that now. Hello guys, this is it going directly into from my mic directly into the preamp, directly into the Focusrite 18920. Now it looks like I'm not getting a loud enough signal, so let me go ahead and turn up the gain. Uh, 35. All right. Okay. Yeah, I can definitely hear the difference. So as you guys can see, I love how that feels, how that gain is just stepped. Right now we're at 35, and it sounds good in my headset, but I can see that I'm kind of into the yellow here. Oh. Okay, hold on. Let me turn this back down because I just realized the gain on the preamp. Wait a sec. Yeah, hold on. Let me check some things out really quickly. Hello. Okay. Wow, this is going to be kind of different. You know what? Hold on. Let me turn this back up one more. All right. So, I realized that the gain was really low on the Focusrite 18i20. So I moved the gain on the Focusrite 18i20 to 9 o'clock. That's where I like having my initial gain set for when recording is at 9 o'clock. I feel like that's a good baseline. And then I guess essentially moved it down from the gain from 35 down to 30 on the Behringer 73. And I like what it looks like. In one of my videos, I believe, I can't remember. Oh, right. In my how I record drums, I talk about dipping into the mustard. And that's when your levels, as you can see right here, here's the gain. It's mostly primarily in the green. But when I get some of the inflections in my voice, you can see that it barely touches the yellow. That was a pretty big one, but that's what we want, is dipping it into the mustard, just barely touching the yellow. And what that is that's a good baseline that you're not hitting the ceiling of your converters or not converters, but of your preamp, especially when you're running a digital set kind of, or a hybrid set like this. Because when you hit the roof or when you max out your preamps, I can't think right now. When you max out your preamps, it generally cuts it off when you're using a digital thing. Now, back in the days, when they were using, like tubes and things like that, when everything was all analog, it would add a certain characteristic pushing these tubes, and it would add a certain tone. But let me show you really quickly. The easiest thing I'm going to do is just turn up my gain here in my DAW. So that way it goes all the way up into, that's as high as it goes. But, okay, bad example, but let me turn that back down. But when you dip into the red, like I said, when you go past the yellow into the red, when you go past the mustard into the ketchup, that's it. You are really hurting your signal. So, but this is just gives you more headroom. This gives you a great starting place to work with your sound and your system. So, primarily, I'm going to be using this preamp here, more along the lines for some voiceovers, and then also for recording vocals. It's just another avenue I have to record vocals. And honestly, I really like the sound of this preamp right now. Now, when I'm done recording and editing this, it might change my mind. You know what? That being said, let me go ahead and edit the video up to this point so that way I know what this sounds like and I can also make any adjustments. So give me a brief moment, and with some movie magic, I'll be talking about what my final thoughts are on the Behringer 73. All right, guys. So as you can see, I dialed it in. I like where all of my settings are on the Behringer 73. As you can see, I'm getting a good enough input or gain right here on my input on channel 3, which is what the Behringer is plugged into on my 18i20. So what do I think about the Behringer 73? Honestly, I really do like this unit, although this is just my first time using it after a couple of days. And even though this is just the initial setup and trying to smooth things out, I think I actually might use this strictly as my voiceover mic for doing all my videos and things like that. I will still definitely try it out when recording vocals and things like that. And of course, I'm going to try it out actually with using some instruments. So maybe I'll do another video on that comparing all my mic preamps, although I only have 3, which would be the Behringer 73, the Fredenstein, and then the straight preamps that are on my Focusrite 18i20. I might do a shootout on all of those. But anyways, this is a great unit. If you have a 500 series unit, I would highly recommend getting this unit. I will leave a link to where you can get the Behringer 73 in the comment sections, or not, in the information section down below. Well, guys, that's all the time we have for today. I hope this video helped you out. I hope you guys liked it. If you have any comments, suggestions, or any questions, go ahead, jot those down in the comment section down below. I do read all of my comments. Even though I may not respond to all of them, I do read all of them. I'd like to thank all of you guys who have made it this far in the video, and for all of you guys who keep on coming back and watching my videos. I have a whole lot of things planned for this year coming up, and I hope this year is great to all of you guys. Until next time, I'm Black Boy, and remember, keep practicing.